and you have, of course, 6 hotels in Ireland. If people staycation here, as you're hoping, as you're expecting, will that compensate for the loss of international travel?
I think so, because somewhat similar to last year, I don't see the recovery taking place in this country until July, August, the latter half of the year, because I think, as I say, it all depends on the rollout of the vaccination. But last year, depending on the locations as well, as some hotels, say in the city centres, were the worst affected. I think Dublin probably will be a slower comeback than maybe the rest of the country, because I think people will want to holiday and staycation in more rural areas and in touristy areas. I think that the families and that will want to meet friends and meet family again that maybe they haven't seen for the last 12 months or whatever. I think that will be the initial stages of it, and maybe it's mini breaks that will be that people will have more often and in various locations around the country. I think that's how it's going to start off, and then develop from there, as it did last year. And I think there's so much to see and do in Ireland that we're living in areas where there's fantastic history and fantastic local events and local places to see. But maybe we need to, as I say, spend a bit more time looking around us and see what Ireland has to offer.
You mentioned there in your answers, Pat, the importance of the vaccination rollout, that we won't see real international tourism here again until the vaccine has been rolled out successfully across the world, but I suppose particularly in Ireland. And Michael Leary also said today that the government here needs to get its finger out. He wasn't impressed with the speed of the rollout in Ireland, and I'm wondering what you make of the vaccination schedule to date.
Well, I suppose it's the unknown and the uncertainty of it. It's like everything else is what is causing the problem, because for an industry like ourselves, it's very hard to plan. It's very hard to predict what's going to happen and how soon it's going to happen. So, as I say, I'm sure the government and I'm sure the EU are doing everything in their power to roll out the vaccine as quick as possible. But until such time as that happens, I don't think we're going to see any major recovery, because the confidence of people to travel or to move around isn't going to be there. So I think that until such time as there's 70 to 80% of the country vaccinated, that we're not going to see the recovery in any industry or in any business as we would like to.
So by the looks of things, Pat, then for your businesses to recover, it'll be the latter half of 2021. That's when we expect 60 to 70% of the country to be vaccinated realistically at this point.
I think so, yeah. I definitely think it'll be into July, August before we can see any great confidence in people to move around. And as I say, we it's going to bring its own issues, because in a lot of cases, over 180,000 have left the industry. So there will be, as I say, challenge there for recruitment of staff again and training of staff and having businesses ready. So that's all has to be done in preparation for recovery. So I would say that there's plenty of work to be done ahead of us, and I'm glad to see that the EWSS is hopefully going to last till the end of the year, because a lot of businesses will need substantial grants, etc., to recover. And I don't think it's going to be like turning on a switch overnight. I think it's going to take a few years to get back to where we were prior to this.
All right, as always, thanks for your time this evening, Pat.